Gary Yourofsky. Okay. Um, so one more thing I wanted to say. Um, that I did have notes for, but the battery on my laptop just died on me because it wasn't plugged in. So I'm just going by memory here. Notes can be helpful, though. I just didn't want to just read off of a script because I did that before. It just doesn't look that great in a video, just reading off of a script. It's better to. I feel like it's better. It looks more genuine if I'm just and more natural if I'm not reading off of a script. So I never really went by notes, but that's what I was trying to do today. But then the notes disappeared when the battery just ran out on my laptop. So the last thing that was in my notes, I think, the only thing I can remember now, so there was another interview that Gary did was another interview where I think it was in Israel. Um, another person, another time where one of the interviewers said how uh, she said she was offended about the when Gary calls the what's going on with the animal agriculture when he calls that the animal holocaust. She said she found that offensive and she wasn't even Jewish. But another thing she said, like the typical excuses that meat eaters use, she said, "Oh, well, circle of life." Oh, that's such an annoying thing for somebody here that's vegan. Circle of life. I forget what Gary said exactly, but like in his response, but like probably just like circle of death, circle of cruelty, because that's really what it is. Circle of life. Such a pathetic thing to say to excuse the system of the suffering of animals. I think Earthling Ed comments on that. How it has nothing to do with the circle of life because of what we do to animals in the animal agriculture business. What we do to them has nothing to do with the circle of life. There's nothing natural about what we do with all the breeding, the artificial insemination, all that, all the drugs chemicals that we give the animals. There's nothing natural about that, so you can't really say circle of life. Um, someone made this point. I'm not sure if it was Gary Yourofsky or if it was Earthling Ed. It seems like it's more of a Gary Yourofsky kind of thing because it's more of kind of more aggressive. Um, yeah, I think it was in one of Gary Yourofsky's lectures, possibly. Unless it was just a post on Facebook, something where like people like a response to meat eaters saying "circle of life." Like, um, you're not gonna be like you're not gonna be saying "circle of life" when it's like a wild animal attacking a human. You're not just gonna be like back off and say, "Oh, let the human be eaten by the wild animal, the large predator." Like a bear. You're not going to just stand back and let the say, "Oh, circle of life," because it's the same kind of thing. Like it's just a pathetic excuse for allowing death to continue when it doesn't have to. So yeah, this interviewer, which I think was in Israel, brought up the pathetic thing about oh, circle of life. And she says how I like to go home and have my steak. And Gary Yourofsky responds by saying, "It was that it's not your steak to take. The steak is another euphemism too. It's flesh that used to belong to an animal that was alive. Steak." So Gary responds by saying, "It was never your steak to take." It was a piece of flesh that belonged to the cow that never wanted you to take. Um, yeah. Oh, one thing that Gary comments on is like some people like feel like just being vegetarian is good enough, but like most of the beef that people consume is from the dairy industry. More beef. We get more beef. Humans get more beef from dairy cows being slaughtered than they do from uh, the other the beef industry alone. Um, so this interview with this Israeli woman, she also says she brings up the tired excuse comparing humans being compared to lions. Like she says how a lion will kill a zebra, which is like connected to the circle of life bullshit. A lion will kill a zebra. Like that's a good enough reason to support the slaughter of cows and pigs and chickens. To compare yourself to an obligate carnivore. That's how Earthling Ed puts it. An animal that needs to eat animals to survive, which we are not. We do not need to eat animals to survive. We are not an obligate carnivore. I just remembered some other things in my notes. So we are the lion excuse is pathetic. Saying, oh, a lion is gonna kill a lion kills a zebra, so that justifies my need to kill animals to eat them. No, 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 no. That's a terrible fucking reason. You're not a lion. So this was Gary's response to that. A lion kills a zebra. What is that? He didn't say what is that. I'm saying what does that have to do with you? You're not a lion. So what Gary says, um, lions sniff each other's butts, and when I came in here, I noticed that you didn't get down on all fours and sniff my butt to greet me. This is what lions do. And he says how I notice you have clothes on. You have a cell phone, you have a purse. So it's not fair to mimic only one thing that a lion does, but not the other things. So there's the logic in that. To just take one thing that an obligate carnivore does and say, well, this obligate carnivore, they eat animals, so I should be able to eat animals too. Yeah, that's something Earthly that is countered with too, like saying how lions will sometimes kill their cubs, which is really horrible. Yeah, wild animals will sometimes do pretty horrible things to each other that we would not do as humans because, as Earthling Ed puts it, we have moral agency. The whole knowing right from wrong thing from the human perspective. The wild animals don't have that. So we're not wild animals. Um, so the other thing that I had in my notes, Gary points out that like Most people think that they are omnivores. And Gary says, no, we are not omnivores. We are 100% herbivorous. And he makes the point, which I've heard this point made elsewhere by Freely and Earthly Ned. Uh, we because of the our intestines are so long, and meat eaters, natural meat eaters, their intestines are much shorter. And the other thing that Gary points out is um, natural meat eaters, their jaw goes up and down, and our jaw it has the ability to go side to side in chewing motion. And natural meat eaters, like some people say, it's natural for us to eat meat. But Gary makes the point of if we were a natural meat eater, um, which I think I've heard this point made elsewhere, either by Freely or Earthling Ed, if we were a natural meat eater, we would just go up to an animal in the wild uh, and bite into the animal while the animal's still alive. We would bite if we were a natural meat eater. We would bite into the animal with our mouth, with our teeth, which are not built for that. So we're not a natural meat eater because we can't just go up to an animal and start chewing into the animal. Not very well, not like a natural meat eater would. We don't have the teeth for that. We don't have the sharp teeth for that. The teeth we have, which Earthling Ed points out, the teeth we have, like these little canines that we have, they're for chewing into like an apple, for fruits and vegetables. That's what these small little canines are for. They're built for chewing into apples, not for tearing into flesh or chewing onto bones. And lions chew right through the bone, and they're a carnivore, unlike us. So yeah, if we were a natural meat eater, Gary says, we would just go up to the animal and kill the animal with our teeth, and we don't have claws like a natural meat eater would. A claw, like it makes sense. If we were a natural meat eater, we would have claws to tear into the flesh, which we do not have. We need a tool. We need some kind of tool, some kind of weapon to kill the animal with. So that's not exactly natural, is it? To require a tool. Um, I think maybe I'm very irritated that I lost all these notes that I had because I liked having the notes. Maybe I'll do notes in the future because it was nice having all these notes here. They were, ugh. So now it's bugging me. Like, did I forget something that I put in my notes? Okay, I don't know. Maybe I'll think of something else, but uh, I hope not. I hope I'm done here talking about Gary Yourofsky. Okay. Although I do have some more videos that are going to follow this. I'm just going to put it in the middle of the series because I like that at my final video, what I'm going to call my final video, I kind of sum it up saying, okay, this is my last video. So I don't want to say this is my last video and then have videos after it. I'd rather not anyway. Anyway, okay, so I'm going to be done here, but there will be some videos following this one. Gary Yourofsky videos.